23rd of August 2023, and this, what a fuck moment. I'm going to talk about this racism and black and white stories that are all over the social media. I've had enough of the bloody nonsense that we have to swallow, and I'm going to start this off with this meme. Look at it and think about it. Black privilege. The ability to break every law in the country and still remain the victim. And how true is that? I must always hear the stories about white supremacy and fuck knows what. But the black privilege is what is destroying the country. But they don't want to hear that. And what makes me the bliksem is the most vocal ones are the ones that has never in their life contributed anything positive to the country. They haven't built anything, they don't pay taxes, nothing. They are just stirring and destroying. But they think they are clever. I must hear this shit about superior logic, natural intelligence. What bullshit is that? Listen to this. 805 schools, thousands of children living in high-risk areas. Whose fault is this? The government, SAPS, the communities? How did we get here? This is incomprehensible. One thing I do know is that the ANC cannot govern. They are incapable. They have failed South Africa. And this was posted by Megan S. And this is the truth. Listen to what Motshekga says. Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga said among support services they provide to learners in high-risk areas includes post-violence care services. What bullshit is this? They destroyed the security systems in South Africa. They are the ones that are promoting this ill discipline. Every time that discipline is put on the table, they've got 140,000 fucking excuses. Because all they want is to run around totally out of control, undisciplined and destroying. That is what they do. And it's people like this minister that is in charge of education that has thought it was a fucking clever plan. Instead of improving the education system, she dropped the pass rate. What shit is that? South Africa sit as it is in the position where there's a hell of a lot of international surveys that was done. The average IQ is round about 67. Now you must understand, 65 is seen as totally mentally retarded. And this is what we have to live with. They think that what is in their heads is the best plan. They don't look around to see what is really happening. Last night I was in a discussion on a Telegram chat, and a Nigerian, there was the traditional keyboard warriors, Sasa brigade in the chat, and the Nigerian guy said, they have come to the conclusion that the dumbest blacks in the world, lives in South Africa. Now that's another black guy saying it, not me saying it. And you can imagine all the shit that came out in that chat. But the reality is, they prove to the world through their actions. And then you get this, again from Megan S. What has happened to the housing units that were supposed to be built over the years? Now that you are forced to build, it's conveniently the construction mafia. Government's corrupt tender scams created this monster. Now you can't stop it. The Human Settlements Minister says government is increasing spending on security to protect protect housing projects. What the fuck is that? Where is the police service? Oh yes, I remember the police service was also fucked up by them. Okay, that's what we have to live with. And then you get a tweet like this. The politicians finally realized that decades of mismanagement and facilitated corruption caught up with them. People in South Africa are jobless, homeless and hopeless. And how true is that? And then you get this fiasco. Can you imagine this? Again from Megan S. Becky Cele stands and brags how prepared they are to protect world leaders while our people are sleeping in a police station fearing for their lives. What has government done to protect them from the Zama Zama terrorists? Our president says they are working on it. And you can see in that picture, many Zama Zamas are former miners, victims of an economy that has been shedding jobs for decades. But the real instigators remain elusive. And I mean, those people are spending the night in the police station because they fear for their lives. But that is black, democratic South Africa. And then I get this from Wanjura Nyoya. My heart breaks for the 2-year-old Wilhelmine running to her father as he was cut down for being a boer. Toddlers are so trusting as they come running to their parents, too young to grasp the horror unfolding. Boer families going through this pain as people chant, kill the boer. And this guy is not from South Africa. But the world is taking note of what's going on here. And then you get this from Gabby. And I like this guy. He's a straight shooter. The Somalians, Ethiopians, Bangladeshis, Pakistanis, Chinese and other foreigners came to this country. Some legally and some illegally. They see opportunities and grab it with both hands. They send tens of millions out of the country monthly and none of them blame apartheid. And you must see the thread was cooking on Twitter. And he made this statement. I think some black people are too obsessed with the past. While they feel good to whine and lament about the past, the opportunities is snatched from them. Those snatching the opportunities don't care about the past. They are securing their futures. And that is something that you can't get into an uneducated guy's brain. You cannot. They cannot understand logics. And facts doesn't matter. One guy tried to answer him and he says, point taken. However, have you considered the education that blacks have been receiving? Colonial education. Education that does not encourage critical thinking or being an entrepreneur, but instead prepares you to serve that master, jobs. Most opportunities are generational legacy. What the fuck is he talking about? You see, their attitude, education, is a colonial thing. And then we get this. Sir Gabona Alfred tweeted, the EFF is the major beneficiary of gold that is mined by the Zama Zamas illegal, a close informant has revealed. But you will not hear a word about that. But the EFF is protecting the Zama Zamas and the illegal immigrants. Wonder why. And then we have this. Vusi Sambo says, and he quotes, when plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in society, over the course of time, they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it. And this was said by Frederick Bastiat, 1801 to 1850. Did he live? I mean, look at that, 300 years ago. And Vusi says, Bastiat's foresight was so creepily accurate. And he refers to this bullshit story from the Reserve Bank about that money in Cyril's couch. What a farce is that? But it's things like this that shows the outside world clearly what the fuck is going on in South Africa. And then we get this from the Wit Leeu. This magnificent stadium was built for you people. Why did you destroy it? All wat julle kan doen is steal en breek. Well, look at it. That was the stadium. And that thing was the ODI stadium, and it was packed over the weekends with the soccer and so. And this is what black democracy has done to it. It is shocking. But they've got lots of stories about apartheid and all of that, and from people that didn't even live in apartheid. They have got no fucking clue what it was like in apartheid. The fact of the matter is that they never experienced a state that worked. They're only used to dilapidation and destruction. And Witleeu was not finished. This was built for your people. Why did you fuck it up? And look at those images. That is what the field looked like, and this is where we are today. And then we get to this, again from Wanjura Nyoya. Now, Vusi Koza, he's a member of parliament, said the following, tweeted the following. We urgently need to reboot South Africa to pre-1652. Level the playing field and send settlers back to where they came from. If they wish to come back, they will come in on our terms and conditions. Now, there is a typical example of a 30% passer. He hasn't got a fucking clue what he's talking about. 1652 was 100 years before they arrived in the country from Central Africa. This is the type of idiocy that we have to set up. But these fucking guys, they sit there, and this is an MP. And this is the crap that they spin out. And there is people in the rest of the world that understand things and knows facts and knows history. And they laugh at them, but these guys are so arrogant. They think they know everything. In the meantime, there's a hell of a lot that they haven't got a clue about. I mean, reboot the pre-1652. What the fuck is he talking about? But Wanjura Nyoya tweets, his bio says Member of Parliament. What now? NYT, WP, BBC, MSNBC. What does reboot South Africa to pre-1652 and send settlers back to where they came from mean? If horror breaks out, will you just say, we're so surprised, nobody could possibly have seen that coming? But, once again, it won't sink into those 30% passers. They cannot understand logics, they cannot work with facts. And then Sir Kabona Alfred comes out. People who always accuse us whites of being land thieves never applied the same anger to government ministers and politicians. Taxpayer money thieves, murderers and mineral resources thieves. You'll never hear such things directed to black leaders because black leaders don't care. There you have it. And then we have another one from the Witleeu. We gave you this in 1994. Why did you destroy it? Look at that swimming pool, the left and on the right. And then you get this from the Witleeu. See what I mean? 2017, that was a swimming pool in the black community. 2021, it's a wreck. And then this guy, listen to his response. What did you expect? Because the majority of black people can't swim. Whites marginalized blacks with most luxury recreation. You'll fix it again, should it happen. What the fuck is he talking about? And then we've got this meme. What if the blacks never get colonized? And then it shows you Ethiopia. And then he asks, what if we freed the slaves and gave them their own country? And then he shows Liberia. And then he says, what if the blacks killed all the whites and ran the country? And he shows you Haiti. And then he asks, what if the blacks seized all the property from the whites? And he shows you Zimbabwe. And these are facts. You can't really bring up any arguments against that. Because it's facts, it's there. Look at this meme. blacks without whites, and on the right-hand side, whites without blacks. And that is the reality and the truth. But nobody in this Sasa Brigade have a fucking clue about reality. They live in an altered universe. I cannot understand it. And I'm going to end this now with that same meme that we started. Look at it again. Black privilege, the ability to break every law in the country and still remain the victim. And that is the reality of life. And they do it everywhere they go. They arrive in a European country and they start fucking it up. Here in South Africa, they burn schools, they burn university exam halls, they burn libraries, they are destroying every fucking piece of infrastructure there is. Railway lines are broken up and carried away. Power pylons are stripped until they collapse. That is the intelligence levels of the mass, and then they are quick to accuse whites, but look what they are doing. Yes, whites gave them separate development, and Ikumalo spoke about that, but then the black ANC democracy came and they destroyed everything. And now today, I'm sitting here and I'm smiling. I'm seeing a lot of things happening at the BRICS meeting and so forth. South Africa has got fuck all to offer. Nothing. Our industrial base is gone. Our electricity is on the last legs. Infrastructure is gone. Harbors are non-functional. Railroad is not existing basically. But yet they want to compete with the other countries. And I look at Cyril with Xi Jinping yesterday and I thought to myself, he's standing there in front of a man that is in charge of a country that lifted 800 million people out of poverty, that builds thousands of kilometers of fast rail every year, that invests heavily in infrastructure in this country. And here stands Cyril. He's the president of a country where it is the national policy that infrastructure must be destroyed. Schools must be burned, clinics must be burned, buses must be burned, trains must be burned, whites must be killed. That is him. And I think to myself, what does Xi Jinping actually think when he looks at Cyril? Because he knows the facts. He knows what's actually going on. And I did a Skidmark yesterday in which I was very pissed off about that BRICS loan to South Africa, but commentators has pointed out to me that there is a lot of conditions attached to that loan. So stealing from that money is going to be problematic for the ANC. But let's see where it goes. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. And I want to thank the people that are supporting the channel financially. I really appreciate it. And as I've said previously, I'm not going to name names and mention people's names, because my channel is fairly controversial. And I don't think people want to be named as being supporters of the channel. That is the main reason why I will never look for a channel advertiser or a channel underwriter or something like that, because the things that I say is dangerous to some of them. Thank you. Enjoy your day.